Tonight, a mystery that has endured for half a millennium. A mystery with a name every kid knows, or at least the ones who learned in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. What you are looking at may be the long-lost remains of the Santa Maria, Christopher Columbus's flagship from his first voyage to the Americas. The underwater explorer who found the wreck is sure this is the missing ship. His name is Barry Clifford, and he's sitting right here. Barry, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So you had found this area. We have the map here. This is just off, like, how many miles off of Haiti?
It's, 2 or 3 miles off the Haitian coast.
3 miles off, which is about where it should have been, given where Columbus was back then?
Well, Columbus said in his Dario that the wreck was a league and a half, which is 4.7 miles from the fort he built called Navidad. The problem is that nobody really knew where Navidad was. So it was misdiagnosed back in 2003 where the actual location was, but on our expedition, at the end of our expedition, we determined the exact location of Navidad through an associate of ours who came up with the documentation that, yes, this is Navidad. So we put one end of the compass on Navidad, swung the compass out into the Bay of Cap Haitian, and exactly the distance it was supposed to be is where we found this 15th century artifact.
You found a cannon, right? The smoking gun that you think leads you to this sort of thing. Now, I've done some stories on treasure hunters, and it's a fantastic subculture down in the Keys and all around the world. So I don't know anything about whether this is true. But since we had him here talking about Magic Johnson earlier, Pat Croce, you know him, a fellow explorer?
I don't know.
Well, let me introduce you. Pat Croce, after the 76ers, founded the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, and he joins us via satellite now. Pat, do you think Barry deserves congratulations? Do you think he found the Santa Maria?
Well, Barry's my hero because he found the Widow, Samuel Bellamy's pirate ship in 1984. So he had found an authentic pirate ship, and he validated it by finding the bell. Now, to find the Santa Maria, which drifted into a sandbank, a sandbar in 1492, and was stripped to the gill, all the boards which Columbus used to build La Navidad, the fort. I mean, I don't see how. He only had a couple cannons on the ship, and he gave one to the fort, one he took back on the Pinta back to Spain. It's hard for me to envision that he would have left a cannon behind. This was Christopher Columbus.
Okay, in having dissected the Dario and understanding this perfectly, remember, Columbus wrecked the ship on Christmas Eve, 1492. He left for Spain 7 days later on January 2nd. They did not have time to strip this giant ship. He said on December 26th that the ship was stripped. That's when he made the note in his Dario, the day after the ship had come ashore. And on January 2nd, leaving the Bay of Cap Haitian, he said in his Dario that they loaded a Lombard and fired it through the Santa Maria, and the stone passed through the ship and traveled at a great distance over the water. Now, that tells me that there was enough of a ship sticking up out of the water that he had a target to shoot at on his way back to Spain. And based on what we saw, based on the way that I've interpreted the Dario, that the ship was not only they took the surface material off the ship, they described cutting a hole in the side of the ship, going into the side of the ship, and taking out jars. They don't describe, and when he made the statement that the ship had been stripped, he made that the next morning after the ship had wrecked on December 26th. Now, my point is that you're not going to strip a ship that was built with these huge timbers in a matter of a couple of hours.
Do you think what is this worth, if it is actually the Santa Maria?
Well, first of all, we don't sell artifacts. This is an educational tool. It's the ship that made possible the discoveries of the Americas. It changed the course of human history, and it's a touchstone to this period that has to be preserved and protected. And that's what we're doing. We heard rumors that the ship had been looted. We put together an emergency team. We went there immediately, and indeed we found the ship had been looted. So we've been in touch with the Haitian government. We've been in touch directly with President Martelly, and it is my mission to preserve excavate the ship and make sure that it is put on display in a way that would help the Haitian people.
You could give it to Pat. He'd put it in his museum.
I'd be glad to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bring it to St. Augustine.
This is a big rivalry, I can already tell.
Right.
But it's a fascinating story, and the world hopes you're right. And we really appreciate you coming here and sharing it. We'll be following it.
Thank you so much.
Right, Barry? And Pat, appreciate it, man. 2 segments. You're our yeoman
See you, Bill.
working for us tonight. I love that you love pirates. I want to come see the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum.
Hey, Pat, how are you?
Be my guest.
All right.